What's up guys, it's Alex here, your friendly reef dog, and today I'm going to tell you about 3 LED lighting options that you might not have thought about. Now if it's your first time at the channel and you want weekly reefing goodness, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything. Right, let's get into it. Lights for a reef tank are one of the most expensive and most exciting purchases that you will make. The most popular options are the likes of Ecotech Radion and AI Hydra, or budget options like the TMC Photon and MaxSpect RSX. But today I'm going to tell you about 3 options you might not have thought about that you probably should. First up is Kessels. Now if you're watching this in the USA, you're probably about to type what the F in the comment section. But in the UK, Kessels are a massively overlooked light, and I hardly ever see them on tanks over here. That's probably because they're more expensive even than Radions, and I've found them to be quite low powered, so you need more units than you do with other lights. But they have so much to offer that I think it's well worth looking past that. For a start, they're easy to use. You just choose how blue or white you want your tank to look. There's no messing around with colour channels and wondering if you should have 12% green or 15% red. The LEDs on Kessels are also packed into a space of a 1-inch square, which results in a really pleasing shimmer. And uniquely to Kessel, there is 0 colour separation or disco balling for all you BRS TV fans. For me, all of the main LED options will grow corals, so the deciding factor is the way the lights will make my tank look. The disco ball effect is just not something I'm prepared to live with, and I couldn't even tolerate the muted disco ball I got from my Radion XR15 with a diffuser. So if colour perfection is your main criteria, these are the lights for you. Next up are Orphex. While LEDs offer loads of advantages over old tech like T5s and metal halides, they just don't offer the same spread. So in an SPS dominated tank where corals branch out in all directions, you end up with shaded areas, which means light won't get to the undersides of your corals, so the flesh dies away at the base, and because of the shading you can't see every part of your beautiful corals. But Orphex make panel style LED units that give you all the benefits of LEDs without the cons of shading. And when BRS TV reviewed them, they said they gave the best shallow depth performance of any LED they tested, and the most even spread, matched only by an 8-bulb T5 unit. While they're not as common overall as Radions, they are popular among SPS dominated tanks, especially those run by experienced reefers. So if you're setting up an SPS tank, Orphex should be high up on your shortlist. And my choice for the most underrated lights are Evergrow V2s, also known as Reef Breeder Photon V2. If you're wondering why you've never heard of these lights, it's because they're only available online and aren't in any of the major shops. They are the king of black box LEDs, and they would be my #1 choice if I was setting up a tank on a budget. In fact, I've even thought long and hard about running them over my Red Sea Reefer Peninsula 500. They give the same panel effect as Orphex, and they're very keenly priced indeed. If you have a 4-foot by 2-foot tank, 2 of the 4-foot Evergrows would give you as near as makes no difference 100% coverage for less than £1,000. To get even close to achieving the same effect with Radions, you'd need 8 XR15s, which would set you back £3,000. And they're not low powered either. The 4-foot version is 230 watts, which is more than the latest Radion XR30 Gen 5s. They don't have app controllability, but they do come with a remote control, which is all you really need. And as far as I can make out, you won't end up with hotspots like you do with the typical Chinese black boxes. They use quality Cree, Osram and semi-LEDs, much like those found in Radions. There are plenty of examples of showpiece tanks on forums and Facebook that run these lights, and they're by no means a low quality option for soft coral only tanks. I've seen SPS dominated tanks that use Evergrows to get the complete coverage that very few other LEDs give. This tank belongs to a UK reefer called Ian Rodber and illustrates the point I'm making perfectly. Every square inch of every coral is illuminated and there is no shading whatsoever. On my tank, I only get that effect during the middle part of the day when the T5s are on, which means I get shading in the evening when I have the blue LEDs on, which is when your corals are looking their best. They also come in a range of sizes, so if you're looking at setting up a new reef tank and want wall-to-wall LED coverage, ask yourself if you'd rather spend your money on fancy lights or fancy corals.